Good day and welcome back to Horsemanship 101 again. Today I want to talk about treats and hand feeding. And it's a subject I actually talked about a number of years back, but it's worth revisiting. It's been a while, and it's one of those very controversial subjects. And what you will hear a lot of people saying is that hand feeding turns horses into biters, and treats are absolute no-no. Never, ever, ever treat your horse. And you'll hear a number of very good trainers, and many who I have great respect for, are quite adamant that you do not ever give your horse treats. Now, I'm not sure exactly why their personal reasons are, but I suspect it's probably because it's much easier to just simply say don't do it than to try and explain how to do it properly, because I don't think that treats or hand feeding themselves are a problem at all. At least not for me. How it's done, though, can be very, very problematic. Before we get started here, I'm going to give these guys some treats here. Oh, my goodness. They're getting... Okay, that's better. There we go. And my good little girl over here, she's got to have one too. Oops, drop that one. So it happens when you're trying to look through the lens at the same time you're doing things. But now, I don't know if you noticed anything there, but there was actually something significant that happened. And I'll show you again, since you may not have caught it. Watch her feet. Now this horse here had a bit of a problem with being a little aggressive and pushy. And actually with her, she could have been a biter if you weren't careful, just because she was rather aggressive. Now this one's a little new, and actually when I first started working with her, she was actually even reluctant to even take a treat from my hand. Now she's just recently gotten to the point where she's starting to get a little pushy and a little more aggressive, and I'm not cool with that. So we're going to deal with it. And there we go. See, before she gets a treat, she has to do something to earn it. She took a step back. Now this one here, I won't make her do that because she's not pushy. She is probably the gentlest little horse you're ever going to meet. I have never ever felt her teeth. She's just an absolute sweetheart, that one. So I deal with all three of these differently. Now, like I said, that one, she used to be very aggressive with food, and if you aren't careful how you held something, you could get bit. So how we dealt with that one, very important, and we actually had to fix that problem. And it's kind of taking care of itself. As you see, she's backing up, because I don't like pushy, aggressive horses. And if you treat them wrong, you'll get that. Now this one here, it's just recently she started doing this, but we're going to deal with it right now. We're not going to let her have a treat until she does the right thing. This is where treating or hand feeding, much of it is actually timing. I'm not happy with that. I want to go back another step yet. There we go. That's better. Okay, much of hand feeding and timing, or hand feeding and treats, it's timing. It's when you give them the treat, whether or not it's a good or bad thing. The treats themselves are nothing. They don't mean a darn thing, but it's when you give them to them that matters. And I don't reward bad behavior. And in the case of that one, and that one too, actually, I'm not going to give them a treat if they get pushy. And that has been a significant issue with that one that we had to really deal with, because she was quite aggressive and pushy. So she had to learn that she wasn't going to get a darn thing until she smartened up, respected my space, and took a step back. So we don't reward bad behavior. That's the important thing about treats, and that's why it's most people are against them, is because if you do it wrong, you can create a monster, because you can end up rewarding bad behavior. And this is where treats and timing, well, timing's important with everything, and it's not, like I said, it's in another video, it's not critical nanosecond stuff. It's simply a case of do or don't. It's simple. And I'm going to share a couple of stories with you. One is entirely fiction, but it's made up of a whole bunch of real events put together to create a little story. The second story I'm going to share with you is actually a real true story. And both of them are very significant when it comes to treats. Now, the first one, which is my fictional story, this family decides they're going to get a horse. And so they buy this horse, and the horse's name is Fluffy. We'll call her Fluffy. Nice name. She's a sweet horse. Sometimes. And they go out to the stable to see Fluffy, and they get up to her box stall, and Fluffy starts getting pretty aggressive and nasty. And so Mom goes, hey, well, no problem. I know how to fix this. We'll just give her some treats, and then she'll mellow out. And, well, they give her some treats, and eventually she does mellow out. And, she's much more handleable. But what has happened there, and this is a very common thing, this is just a fictional story, but it's a very common scenario, is, people will give their horse treats thinking it's going to calm them down, when in fact they're actually teaching the horse that bad behavior gets them treats. Now, see, these two moving on me, I just reached into my pocket. But you see her take a step back, she already knows she's not going to get one unless she does the right thing. This one's going to have to learn. She's still learning, but she's pretty smart, so it won't take her long. Let's see what happens here. Oh, you're not getting... Oh, there we go. She took a step back. I didn't have to do a thing there to get that. So, Fluffy has figured out that by acting badly, she'll get rewarded with treats. That's what Fluffy has learned. And they have created that behavior, and all they're doing is reinforcing bad behavior. That's what they're doing now. I reinforce good behavior. She's not going to get a treat until she does the right thing, which in her case is going to be take a step back. And there we go. See? That's how it works. Same with this one. I don't play favorites here. She's going to take a step back before she gets a treat. There we go. She backed up just a little bit. Wasn't a lot, but she got the right idea. Now this one here, even if she does come towards me, I'm not too worried about her because she's just so gentle. She has never, ever been pushy or aggressive. But that's where, each one is individual. Like, all three of these horses behave quite differently, so I deal with them differently. But, okay, I hope you got the concept of that story about Fluffy is they taught that horse bad manners, and they reinforced the bad manners by treating her every time she behaved aggressively. I won't do that. I don't reward bad manners. And if this horse gets pushy, gets in my face, she's not getting a darn thing. She's not going to get a thing until she backs up. And, if she wants to stand there like that, she can. She can stand there all day. I don't care. She's not getting a treat. And that's the importance. There we go. She took a step back. Okay. Now, my second story, it's a true story. I was talking to a lady, and her and her husband had just acquired a horse. And she says, the horse is pretty good with me. I don't have too much trouble getting near it, but my husband has to use treats to get that horse. Now, I did a video on this a while back. I talked about how bribery does not work. And basically what they are doing, and I said, for God's sake, whatever you do, stop giving that horse treats. If you don't realize what you're doing, absolutely don't. And, well, obviously they don't know what they're doing or they wouldn't be doing it. Because what they were doing is they were teaching that horse that if it's hard to be caught, it gets treats. And so it'll always be hard to get, be caught. In fact, it might even get worse. We got these two knuckleheads in my face again. I don't even like that. They're too close. Get back. Back up. Both of you. There we go. Oh, get back. Back up. Thank you. Okay. So, he would always go out. The only way he could get near that horse is if he had treats and bribed the horse with treats. And basically, he was teaching that horse to be hard to catch. And that's the dangers of hand feeding or treating. Now, the same with the biting thing. A lot of people say if you hand feed a horse, it'll become a biter. No, it doesn't. If it's hand fed wrong, it will become a biter. And, this one here would be a perfect example of that. And not that she's mean, she doesn't bite or anything, but she's just really aggressive with food. And I've had to teach her that I don't want to feel nothing but lips. If I feel anything other than her lips, she's not getting a treat. As simple as that. She's got to learn some manners, and she's improved dramatically now. I don't remember the last time I've even felt her teeth, and yet it wasn't that long ago that you had to be very careful when feeding her, that if you didn't hold the treat just right, you could get bit. So treats and hand feeding, neither one of them are bad, in themselves. But done incorrectly, they can be horrible. They can have horrible consequences. Rewarding bad behavior, if the horse does something bad and you give it a treat, you're telling it that doing something bad is the right thing by rewarding it with the treat. And that's why, so many people say absolutely don't treat your horse. Rather than trying to teach people how to do it properly, they just say blanket, don't do it. Because when it comes right down to it, it's not absolutely necessary. You do not have to do it. I do it. I like to do it. I do it often, but it's not necessary, and certainly not a necessary part of training. You do not have to treat your horse, okay? But don't get obsessive about the don't hand feed, don't treat your horse thing. I've seen some people that, they will give treats to the horse, but they'll put it in a feed bucket and things like that. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go to that extreme, but you have to do it properly, because if you don't do it properly, you will create a monster, you will create a biter, you will have problems if you don't do it right. And it's all about timing, like I've talked about. It's not a matter of fractions of a second. It's simply a case of do or don't. The right or wrong time to be doing something. And if the horse is behaving badly, that would be absolutely the wrong time to be rewarding it with a treat. If it does the right thing, sure, I'll give her a treat. Now, she's moving in on me. She's not going to get one. But, if she wants one, see, she's taking a step back already. She knows the drill. This one here doesn't know it as well. She's going to learn, though, because she's not going to get a treat until she takes a step back. See, and that's timing. It's simply a case of do or don't. There we go. She backed up. She gets a treat. And she will very quickly learn the right and wrong time, the kind of behavior that's required. And what she has to do. And again, this one, we don't worry about her because she's just a sweetheart. But, that's also where, each horse is a little bit different in how you deal with it. But like I said, it's not a case of whether or not you feed by hand or whether or not you use treats. It's how you do it. And it's a case of timing, like just about everything. It's about whether or not, it's the right or wrong time to be doing it. And I'm not going to put up with bad behavior. She's getting way too close to me right now, and I'm going to put her to work. So if you'll excuse me, I got to go. Have a good day.